Hi everyone, my name is Amber. Today is Thursday, May 3rd, I believe, and this is a Lovely Yarn podcast. I am coming to you from Western Pennsylvania, where we are thankfully experiencing some lovely spring weather, finally. So, let's get started. I'm going to put all of my notes down in like where you can find me on the internet. I'll put that down below in the description box. Basically, I'm on Instagram the most, so I'll put my username there. And I have a Ravelry group that I set up, but I'm not very good at that, so I apologize to anyone who's posted on there and I haven't responded. Instagram seems to be the best way for me to communicate. Ravelry is just too much. I only have so much mental space for social media. So right now Instagram is my favorite. All right, so what has been going on lately? Well, I'm a little bit off this week because we made an unexpected last-minute trip to Asheville, North Carolina. My husband and I decided last Thursday at like 11 p.m. that we were going to go down there. I have a good friend, her name is Julie, and she was diagnosed with stage 4 advanced breast cancer back in October of 2015. And I've seen her several times. I've seen her once a year since then. That's a lie. I saw her twice last summer. But she's been getting progressively worse. And so I've been wanting to get down there the last couple of months just to spend some time with her and also just help her out because, she's done amazing. She's done all alternative natural therapies except some radiation. She did have some radiation done. But anyway, we decided 11 p.m. Thursday, hey, let's get up Saturday morning and go down to Asheville for a few days. So we did that, and unfortunately Friday morning she ended up in the hospital and in the ICU. So we still went. I wanted to see her. I didn't get to spend a lot of time with her, and she wasn't feeling well, and she was on some pain medication and stuff. So, but it was nice. We stayed through Tuesday, just 2 days ago, and the last day she had gotten moved from the ICU to like a step-down unit. So I was able to go in and spend about an hour, and she was, with it and stuff, and we had a good conversation. So that's why we went to Asheville. She has a daughter that is the same age as my daughter, so we were able to spend some time with her. Her name is Emma. So you can, if you pray, please keep Julie and Emma in your prayers. And I'd been to Asheville before, but we just kind of had been in the city of Asheville, so we stayed in an apartment right, 10, 15 minutes outside of Asheville proper, and in a little town called Swannanoa. And it was nice. The area around Asheville is really beautiful. I was mostly in the hospital, just even though I wasn't able to be in with Julie, I was kind of there just hanging out with her family. But Monday, she was really, really tired, and I knew she didn't want any visitors until that evening. So the family and I went, and we did some hiking and just explored some of the trails. Montreat, we went to Montreat. I put some of that footage in my stories. But anyway, we were in Asheville, so yesterday was like a Monday to me because I got back. I had a meeting first thing in the morning. I'm still trying to do laundry. There's so much laundry. You know how that is when you're away. And I was foolish. I went after my meeting. I knew I needed to we've pulled out some landscaping. And so we've had these big gaping holes in our landscaping that have been driving me crazy. So I knew that I wanted to fill that space. So I went and I went to Rural King, and I don't know if that's just a Pennsylvania thing, but basically they have all kinds of farming supplies, and this time of year in Pennsylvania, they have landscaping supplies. So I went and I bought some plants, more than what I was going to, but that's how I am. And then I thought, well, while I'm here, I'm just going to pick up some chicks because we need some. So I went and I got 9, And I'm like, the whole way home, I'm thinking, why in the world did I buy chicks today? Because now I have to go home. I have to get their little brooder set up, like just where we keep them, because you can't put them in with the big chickens, you know. Anyway, that's just how I do things. I make more work for myself. And I had to do grocery shopping yesterday, but it turned out fine. And it was a beautiful day, so I came home, I got the chicken stuff set up after I got my groceries put away, and I planted my landscaping stuff, and then I'd also bought some herbs from a local nursery yesterday, so I went ahead and threw those into some of the raised beds we have. So it ended up being a pretty busy day, but it was nice. So that's what's been going on in my life. We're finishing up our homeschool year. We've got 7 days left to reach our 180 days that Pennsylvania requires. So we're coming to the end of that, which is really exciting because Mama needs a break, and I think the kids do too. Yeah, so that's life. That's life right now. So I guess we can get on to knitting. So because Asheville is about a 9-hour drive for us, as I always do when we travel, I like wait till the very last minute to try to decide what am I going to take to work on during the car ride as well as once we get there. Because I knew Julie was in the hospital, I didn't know if I'd have a lot of downtime while I was at the hospital. So Friday night, again, I waited till the last minute. We were leaving early Saturday. Friday night, I went down to my little craft studio and I'm like, what do I take? Well, I ended up just taking the 2 projects that I was already working on because I thought, Amber, every time you take projects, you take like 5 and you work on 1, maybe 2. And you never have as much time to knit as you think you're going to. So that's what I did. And actually it worked out great because I got a lot done on the stuff that I was already working on. So let me show you. I have shown you already the campside shawl by Alicia Plumer. I showed this a while ago, maybe a couple podcasts ago. And I'm just finishing it up now, working on the ribbing, the ribbed edging. I have this on needles that are not going to be very conducive to showing you what the shawl looks like all spread out, but I'll kind of try to give you an idea here. See, it's going to be huge. And this is baby alpaca. This is Shibui Knits baby alpaca blend. Gosh, it's so just, oh my goodness, it's wonderful. It has a wonderful drape. This is going to be so incredibly cozy. Like, I cannot even wait to finish this. And the funny thing is when I started this shawl, I wasn't sure that I liked the yarn because it's alpaca, it's 100%. So it's a stiffer yarn. But once it's knit up and it's got all this, like the eyelets, it's got a lot of stretch now, and it's got wonderful drape, and it's nice, and it's not super heavy, but it feels a little more dense and cozy, which I really, really like. So I'm excited to finish this, and this is going to be finished very soon because, like I said, I'm just on it has a band of ribbing along both sides it's a triangular shawl. So, yes, almost done. Very excited to be able to not just finish it, but to wear it. I really like that pattern. It's a great pattern. It's very simple. It's just a bunch of eyelets, and they spread out more as you work out. So they start further apart. I'm sorry, the eyelets start further apart and then they get closer. I feel like my words aren't coming very easily today. I'm just off. Like I said, yesterday felt like Monday to me. It really did. And I usually don't think Mondays are that bad. But yesterday definitely felt like the first day of the work week. Okay, so that is one project. You know what? Both of my bags that I have my projects in are by Olivia from This Handmade Life. She makes beautiful bags, and I think she just recently had a shop update. I don't know if she has anything left, because I feel like her stuff would sell out really, really quickly. But if she does, they're beautifully made, very well made. Isn't this one cute? Like this, I don't know what this is called, piecework maybe? Paper piecework? Is that what that's called? I don't know. I'm not a sewist. Okay. And then my next project that I took with me and worked on are just a plain pair of socks. But this is done, I'm using yarn from 6 and 7 fiber. And I'm doing contrasting cuffs, toes, and heels. And the main color I don't know if you can, I'm trying some new stuff with my camera. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Okay, so that main color is called Luna's Shoes, and that's a reference to Harry Potter, Luna Lovegood, my absolute favorite character of Harry Potter. I love her. I really do. I love her character. I feel like if I had to be a character in Harry Potter, I would totally be Luna. So, and then I forget the exact name of this gold yellow, but it is also one of Rachel's from 6 and 7 fiber. It's one of her minis that I had bought. Yeah, but I can't remember the exact name of it. So I think I had somebody ask me, okay, can you share, oh, a wasp just flew in. That's not good. I'm going to have to pause this and get the wasp out. Great. Okay. Just as a little side note, can I get my foot in here? It is so nice out. Yesterday was 80 some degrees. Today it's supposed to be in the high 70s. But I've been keeping my windows open and then closing them because I've been quickly realizing that there are bees and wasps coming in because we don't have our screens in yet. We got home from Asheville and we weren't prepared for the explosion of green, and like all of our rhododendron around our house are in full bloom, so we've got a ton of bumblebees and honeybees, and it's wonderful. But you just cannot leave your windows open without the screens in them. And I had a window open and a wasp got in. So I wanted to take care of that before it flew into the house and, I don't know, went off somewhere. Okay, so, oh yes, I was talking about this sock. So basically with my socks, I buy these little 9-inch needles from Chalgu. They're my favorite way to knit socks. Favorite. I don't know how to do magic loop. I've never tried it. For some reason, I'm intimidated by it. I think it's because there's all that extra cable that I don't want to have to deal with, because I am the type of person that hates clutter. When there's clutter or extra stuff around, I have a really hard time relaxing, and I have a really hard time being productive. So I know that sounds crazy, but I just keep thinking, oh, that extra cable, it's going to be like clutter. It's going to be like knitting clutter. So I like these needles. I figure if I like them, why try to figure out a new way? Having said that, I may end up trying magic loop just because there's a part of me that thinks I need to at least try it, because I can see how it would be very convenient. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll do that sometime. So anyway, I'm using these little Chalgu 9-inch needles. I have them in various sizes, but my favorite size is the US size 1, which is the 2.25 millimeter. And the way I knit my socks for myself, I cast on 64 stitches on a size 1, and then I do usually anywhere from 15 to 20 rounds of 2x2 ribbing. Sometimes I'll do 1x1 ribbing. And then these socks I made a little bit longer than usual. I think I did 75 rounds of stockinette. And then I do this heel, I think it's called a slip stitch heel, modified slip stitch heel. It's the heel that's in the pattern from Hermione's Everyday Socks. I made those. I made a pair of those. I've made several pairs of those, but the very first pair I made of the Hermione's Everyday Socks, when I got to the heel, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this heel. And it makes it nice and thick, and it's really pretty looking. So that's the heel I always do. And then I do it's a heel flap and gusset. And then I end up doing 50 rounds for my foot. And then I start my toe decreases. And I will have to switch to my double pointed needles to finish out the toe decrease, but that's okay. I don't really mind double pointed. I just feel like in a sock, they slow me down. Where this, it's just continuous round and round, so that's really nice. Anyway, okay, so I have one almost done. I worked on this on the trip down, and when I started, I think I only had like the ribbing plus maybe a couple inches of the leg. So I worked through all of this stuff. No, that's a lie. I had more than that done. Basically, I finished the sock except for the toe decreases because I forgot my double pointed needles. I was so upset with myself. Thankfully, I had brought that campside shawl along, because if not, I would have been like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I would have found a yarn shop and bought double pointed needles so I could finish my socks, right? We know the solution to that. Yeah, so that's all I have to say about these. And those are my only 2 works in progress. But maybe I mentioned this before. I don't like to have a lot of projects going at one time. I really like to be able to focus on 1 or 2. If I get too many, I get overwhelmed. And then I just feel like I can't enjoy the process of making them. So I just like to have a couple. Usually it's a pair of socks and then something a little bit bigger and more time consuming, like the shawl or a sweater. That's just the way I do things. Next, oh yes, I want to show you what I'm going to be swatching for, checking gauge and stuff. As soon as I finish my campside shawl, I'm going to be starting this. Now, I purchased this pattern last year around this time, bought the yarn last year around this time, put it into the balls, got everything ready to go, but I did not get any farther than that. So this pattern that I'm talking about is Morning Mist by Annie Claire. This is a summer shirt. It has like little cap sleeves, which I love cap sleeves. That's one of my favorite type of, they're not really short sleeves, but they're not sleeveless. It's kind of like, right in between that. Let me see if I can, there's not really a good picture in this pattern other than, is that focusing? Oh gosh, I don't know. I'll link to it down below. The pattern calls for, it's a wool and cotton mix, the yarn. It's Cotton Comfort by Green Mountain Spinnery is what the pattern used and what they suggested, but I ended up getting something else. I don't even remember what it was called. Let me see. Berroco Fiora. Okay, and I picked this up at Yarns by Design, which is my local-ish yarn shop. It's about a 50-minute drive from here, but it's the closest one that I have. So this is going to be the main body. I really like this color. It's a mauve-y, purplish color. And unfortunately, it does not have like a color name. It has a color number, which is 3814. And this particular yarn is, it's got a combination of many different things: cotton, viscose, alpaca, nylon, and wool. I figured that this would be good because it is supposed to be a warm weather shirt, and the cotton stuff, I thought that would be nice to have. It would be cooler, more breathable than a knitted top that had a bunch of wool in it. I don't think that I'd wear it. I will wear this in the cooler months because I can throw a cardigan on over it, but I'm really excited to start this. The only thing that's keeping me from starting, and I think the thing that kept me from starting last year, was the fact that I just needed to check gauge and make sure I got the right gauge. And I just got busy with summer stuff and didn't want to do it, so I didn't. But the way this is you work the lace panel of this particular top first, and then you must pick up stitches all around. And then I think it's just stockinette. I don't know. I need to look over the pattern. I haven't read it since last year. But I love the cap sleeves. I love the lace panel that's on the back. I think it's just going to be a really beautiful, simple, yet with that lace panel, I think it's just going to give it some extra oomph. So I'm excited to start that. And like I said, as soon as I finish the shawl, I'm going to work on this because that'll be exciting to start that. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the knitting process for me. Knitting and spinning process. Some people seem to just be turning out projects like that. And I'm always like, wow, you are amazing. I'm not able to do that right now. I don't even know, even if I didn't homeschool my kids and have multiple things that I'm running here and there for, I don't know that I could sit down and just knit a sweater in a few days. I'm not sure because I've never done it, so I don't know how I would feel about that. So my knitting process looks like this. I find something that I want to knit. I get the yarn for it, or look in my stash. But honestly, I like an excuse to buy yarn, but that's a whole nother story. And then, like I said, I usually just work on that project. I focus on that project. But my knitting I usually knit every day. It's just that I don't have large amounts of time to sit there and to do it. And so I'm trying to focus more on it being less about the end product, although that's very important because I want to have the end product. And it makes me happy when I'm finished and I can actually use it. But I also want to just be able to slow down and enjoy the process of actually making something and seeing how the stitches come together and how the yarn feels and how it makes me feel. Because knitting to me is really, really quite awesome. I mean, we have fiber, yarn, we get a vision or we see someone else's vision, like a pattern, and we think, wow, I'd really like that. Like for instance, this Morning Mist shirt, this top is really pretty, and I know I would wear that. So I guess for me, knitting is more, it's practical. It's very practical for me because I am not likely to knit something that I'm not going to use. And I get a little nervous about that because sometimes I think, well, what if I knit this and then it doesn't fit right, or I don't like how it looks on me. And that's always a chance we take when we make something. I understand that. I have one cardigan I knit. It was my very first sweater. And I hate how it fits me. I hate it. I don't wear it. I've tried to wear it like 3 times, and every time I take it off because I just can't stand it. It just falls off my shoulders. And so, yeah, I'm a practical knitter as far as what the end product is. Does that make sense? I like to knit with a purpose in mind. Yes. And with spinning, spinning's different because I have so much hand spun yarn that I don't even know, like I don't have any purpose for it. I spin just to spin. I actually, like knitting is more of I knit for the end product. Spinning is, I love to spin. I love how it makes me feel. So I will sit at my will and I will spin yarn that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with, other than when I finish it, I'm going to put it on my shelf and stare at it and let it inspire me. So spinning and knitting feel very different to me, which I did not realize that till lately when I was thinking about it. Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you guys knit for the end product, or do you knit for the process, or do you do a bit of both? So that's enough about that. One more thing I want to talk about is my spinning, because I kind of like to talk about a little bit about that anyway, every podcast. And I've had a lot of interest in my viewers, which, oh my gosh, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your comments. They just make me so happy. Like, for real. I love getting comments from you, and I try to respond to everyone because I just really appreciate you guys taking the time to comment. But after my last podcast, I think it was my last podcast, I asked for like suggestions on future content. I had a lot of people that were interested in just seeing the whole spinning process. Some even said about the spinning process from the very start, where I'm actually processing the fiber, like washing it and all that, carding it, through the spinning process. So I would like to do that. I had somebody ask me about maybe doing a film on how to harvest the fiber off of my Angora rabbit. And she actually needs shorn, so if I can get somebody to help, like one of my kids, I'm gonna take some footage from that. And I don't know if I'll do a separate video or if I'll just pop it in one of my podcasts. And so there was quite a bit of interest in spinning, so I'm going to do something with that. And now that the weather's getting nicer here and warmer, I will be able to actually wash more fiber, so I can show you that process. My phone's going to ding again. I'm just giving you a warning because it dings twice when I get a text message. So excuse the dings. I don't want to bend over there and check my message because it'll mess up my mic and there will be interference. Anyway, all right, so knitting. This wooden bowl, holds my Elberta yarn that I spun from, how'd she pronounce her name? It was funny, in her latest podcast, Carolyn, but she says it differently. I pronounce it Caroline, but she pronounces it something like Carolyn, but really fast. So this is the Elberta fiber that I got from them, and I finished spinning it. I love the smell of it. See, there it goes, ding. Okay, so this is what I got. So there's 5 skeins here, and I had a little bit of the fiber left, but I kept it because I want to have it to add into future spinning projects, because it gives it that particular fiber has lots of nebs in it, and it gives a nice tweedy look. So I wanted to save some of it. What am I gonna make with this? This is gonna be a shawl. This is for sure gonna be a shawl, and I've been pinning things, like, not pinning, that's Pinterest. I've been favoriting things on Ravelry because I need a shawl that, what's the best way to say it? I want something rustic and warm, and I can't think of the right word. I have something in mind, in my head. I just haven't found it yet. I have found pieces of, I'm like, okay, I really like that shawl, or I really like that about that shawl, but I haven't found the perfect one for this yarn yet. I want this to be a really warm, cozy, solid shawl. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what this yarn is telling me. It speaks to me. It says, I want to be a solid, cozy shawl. I really, really enjoyed spinning this fiber. I was kind of sad when it was done. But now I get to make something with it. So that's really exciting. And I have spun some other things. I put a picture of this skein on Instagram, on my Instagram feed. This is just a merino wool, and it's like a tonal, I don't want to call this magenta, but parts of it are. Other parts of it are very light pink, like a delicate pink. And I have more of this fiber, and I was actually, first I had intended to make this a 2-ply, and then I let it sit on the bobbin for a while, and I just stared at it, and I thought, I think that will make a really nice 1-ply. And I'm glad I decided to do that. So this yarn is going to remain single, and it's going to go on my shelf until I find something to do with it. Yeah. Oh, and also, I'm spinning, let me grab it. I'm spinning this up right now too, and I'm going to keep this as a single as well. Can't tell if that's focusing. And the reason, I already spun some of this up into a 2-ply, and I knitted a hat with it, so I don't have a whole lot of this left. So whatever I have, I already have some on my bobbin, and I'm going to just spin this up into a single. And then I think probably what I'll end up doing with a lot of my hand spun is color work of some sort. I've thrown around the idea of putting some of it on my Etsy shop, which has not been in operation for a long time. And I also have this beautiful, this will turn out to be like a variegated, and I have some of this already spun up. It says like blues, plum, pink. So I'm going to be working on this as well. And have you guys heard of Spun Right Round? I cannot remember the woman's name behind that yarn company, but she's a dyer, and she also sells dyed roving. So she has, every now and then she'll do seconds sales, which it's basically discounted yarn and fiber that has something off or one of a kind, or for some reason she's discounted it, and she does this every now and then. So I've bought from it before, and she just recently had one, and I bought 2 things of fiber, and do you know, I cannot find the other one. I've spun one of them up, and I cannot find the other roving. I'm like, where did I put it? I'll find it, but I'm going to insert a picture of this, what this looked like before I spun it up, right here. Okay, and this is what it looks like spun up. These are so not my colors. Like, nothing about this is nice, is pretty to me. This is nothing against her dyeing technique or anything. I'm just like, I was spinning this and I'm like, what am I going to do with this? This is so not amber. Again, the only thing I could think of was like color work, because then it would be like dispersed, but I'm not sure. I think probably some people would like this color. It's the orange and the yellow, and it reminds me, honestly, this reminds me of Halloween. And I'm not a big fan of Halloween, and I don't really like orange and purple together. But why did I buy that? I don't know. I guess it looked different online. Less bright, less vibrant. I don't even know. But I spun it. It's done. I don't know what's going to happen with it. And then this, this is Coopworth that I had purchased from Dawn of Lazy O, oh gosh darn it. I'll put her thing. I talked about her last podcast because I bought some yarn off of her as well. But I spun this up as a single. It was only like a 1 ounce sample of her Coopworth. So I just spun this up as a single. So there's probably not a lot here. I haven't counted the yardage yet. Anyway, so I did that. And one more little thing. So a few years ago, my kids and I took one of our alpacas, well, 3 of our alpacas were white. So we took fiber from the one wakaya, and we decided to do like a little dyeing experiment for our school day. So we dyed 8 different colors we just used like food coloring dyes. So nothing technical. It was just a fun little art experiment to do. So I have had these little bags of rainbow alpaca fiber. And what I was looking at, I'm like, oh, I should do something with that. So I started spinning it. I was just like carding it with my hand carders and mixing the colors just right on the carder, and then so it was blending the colors, and then I was making it into little rolags and I was spinning that. And I didn't get very far because this is it. It's very pastel looking. It was looking very Easter-like, Easter eggs. I don't know. Again, not my colors, I would not make anything out of this that I would wear. So what I'm going to do with this, I spun this up as a single. I was going to do more, but I just thought, no, it's kind of like a waste of my time because I'm not going to make anything substantial out of it. And hand carding it's a slow process. So I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to knit it into my mitered square blanket that I've been working on. And that way I will have that memory of the kids and I dyeing this fiber without having to commit to knitting a whole garment or large item out of it. So that's what's happening with this. So this was just a little fun, quick project. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about was spinning. I just want to talk about this fiber here in front of me. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could feel this. This is from my Angora rabbits. Now, on this side, this is pure white. Pure white. This was from Snowball, who I believe I shared in one of my podcasts, was sadly killed by a neighbor's dog because the dog opened the latch on our run, got in, and got the rabbit. I had 3 rabbits. It got one of them. That was the only time in my life I felt like killing an animal. I was so like a pet. I was so mad because that bunny, the thing about it is that bunny had just been really, really ill, and I had taken it to the vet and I was nursing it. I was spending hours a day nursing this rabbit back to health. And then 2 or 3 weeks after that happened, and she was such a good rabbit, just so pleasant. We have a Holland Lop. We've had lots of Holland Lops, and I've never liked their temperament. They're very standoffish. They really don't want anything to do with people. But my Angora rabbits are very friendly, and particularly Snowball. She just she was just so sweet and affectionate. So I was really, really angry when that happened. But I have a lot of her fiber, and this, I can't even describe how soft this is. It is just so, you wouldn't even believe it unless you felt it. So this is from Snowball. And then my other bunny I still have, her name's Honey, and she has a champagne. It's interesting. Her fiber is interesting because it's more of a cream color on the part that's closer to her body, and then the tips are like a champagne color. So I have a lot of her fiber as well, and she actually needs shorn. She's the one I was talking about earlier. She needs trimmed, not shorn. She needs trimmed, and I'm going to be doing that soon. She's also a very nice bunny. She'll just kind of sit on my lap and let me do my thing. I couldn't even imagine doing that with the Holland Lop. I'm so glad the Holland Lop does not need trimmed because she's just never been very friendly at all. Yeah, so, but anyway, so that's what this little bowl is. It's full of my Angora fiber, some of it. I have lots more done in my craft studio, which, speaking of my craft studio, it's a mess, guys. It's a mess. Just a little bit ago, I was saying how I cannot stand clutter. It just, when there's clutter, I just want to just, I can't stand to be around it. So, my craft studio, I've always kept it clean, but lately it's become a dumping ground, and I bought a new piece of furniture. This is when it happened. I bought a new cupboard, a really cool old cupboard. Whoever owned it before me, I could tell that they were very creative and into art, because they had sewn a quilt top and Mod Podged it to the one door. Maybe I should try to get some footage of this so you can see it. I think I'll try to do that, and I'll stick it in right here. So I found this at a secondhand consignment shop. It was extremely reasonable. I think I paid $50 for it, which is really reasonable. So up until that time, I had a dresser from when I was a kid, the dresser I had in my bedroom when I was a kid. I had gotten that bedroom suite off of my parents for my daughter. And she was no longer using that dresser. It was just like a tall one. So I had it down in my room, and that's where I stored some of my fiber and other like buttons and just all kinds of craft supplies in there. So when I bought that new cupboard, my daughter decided she wanted the other dresser. So I emptied everything out, put it in baskets and containers, and just dumped it in the room. And I have not dealt with it. And that was probably a month ago. So that room to me right now is really uninspiring. It's also in our basement, which I am a lover of sunlight. Now, what that room does have going for it is that it has, because when we built that room, it was a bedroom. And because of that, with the building codes and fire codes and stuff, we had to make it a full-sized window because it was going to be used as a bedroom. So it actually has a full-sized window that we had to dig out from our house and put a big, it's a nice window well. My husband used wooden planks, and we filled it in with some gravel and stuff. So it's not like it's not nice. It looks nice. But it still isn't as bright as like up here in the upstairs of our house. So between the lack of sunlight this winter and that mess, I have not been going down there. But it is on my to-do list. Like when we finish school, like I said, we have 7 days. I am going to be down there, and I'm going to be getting that room reorganized, because I want to be inspired when I walk in there again. I put a picture on my Instagram feed a couple days ago of what that room looked like, at least like half of the room. I can't get the whole, it's hard to get the whole room in one shot. But I put that on there, and at one point it was very nice and cozy, and I have lots of lamps in that room, because that way when I go down there I can put the lamps on, so it's cozy even though it's not as bright as upstairs here. So guys, that's on my to-do list. I'm gonna go down there. Last week I went to the thrift shop to look for baskets for storage, and I actually ended up finding a bunch of really cool glass jars that I'm going to put some stuff in and display. And I did find a couple baskets. I just found some stuff that I'm going to use in my reorganization of that room. So I'm excited to get that done. And now that the sun is out more, I have more energy. So yeah, after we finish school, that's going to be my big project to work on. And I don't know why I wanted to tell you that. I don't know. Okay, one more thing. A giveaway. I'm planning a giveaway. I need to pause here because I need to grab something that is related to the giveaway. Hold on. Oh, before we get to the giveaway, do you see this big pile of white merino roving? I bought this a while ago. I think back when I first started to spin, which was 2.5 years ago. because I didn't want to buy dyed. Dyed roving is much more expensive than just buying the undyed because it's been dyed. It's like buying indie dyed yarn. So you're paying more because somebody has taken the time to dye it. So I bought a bunch when I first was learning so that I could practice. But yeah, I picked up on it pretty fast, and then before I knew it, I was wanting to buy more interesting yarns to spin. But anyway, I have this, and Lindsay from A Wooden Nest podcast, and I'll put her contact info down in the description box as well. She is currently hosting a natural dye knit along. So I think what I'm going to do, I do have some naturally dyed yarn. I know I have a skein from Melody of Bee Mandarins back when she was dyeing yarn. That might be the only skein of naturally dyed yarn I have currently. But what I thought would be really fun for me is to dye some of my roving and then to spin it. Or I could spin it and then dye it. I'm not sure which way I'll do it yet. So that's why I put this out here. I think that'll be fun. And it runs through September 1st, I believe, which is why I'm even considering it. Because if it was going to be like a month and a half or even 2 months long, like the knit along, I wouldn't be able to have the time to do it. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that should be fun. Now I just need to choose what I'm going to dye it with. And I bought some seeds yesterday to plant, and some of those seeds are plants that I could dye with. So I think probably what I'm going to end up doing is spinning the fiber into yarn, and then dyeing it once those plants are bigger and I can harvest them for their color. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, and I also want to... Okay, this is my newest mug. It's empty. It has nothing in it. Well, there's a business card in there. I just bought this when we were in Asheville. So Brad and I have this thing. When we go on our travels, we always like to get, if possible, a piece of pottery. And this was the one we chose to remember our trip to Asheville. It's different. I've never seen a mug that has, like, it's wider at the base, and then the handle is really, it just feels really good. So it's such a beautiful mug. We bought this in Black Mountain, North Carolina. It was handmade by Tisha. There were a lot of different potters there, like a lot of different potters had their work for sale there. And I'm pretty sure all of them were local. I'm almost positive. So this person that made this, I'm pretty sure it was local to Black Mountain, North Carolina, which is right outside of Asheville. And that was a really cute little town. Lots of shops. And I believe all the shops were local, like sold local goods. They weren't like touristy, cheap. Every shop has the same thing type of a deal. This was a really cute town. We didn't really stay long because, my husband and Ian, my 14-year-old son, they're not really into shopping. Now, if it's just Brad and I, when we go alone, it's more, I feel like he gets into it more. Lily and I could go and walk around those towns, and that's what we normally do when we go on vacation. She and I will go to the town and we will visit it and go to the shops and stuff and just check everything out. Even though I'm not a shopper, I still like to visit shops that sell stuff like this. Stuff that somebody has made with their own hands. Like a small business owner. So yeah, this is just a little card for the Mountain Nest. That was the name of the shop that I bought this from. So that's my newest mug. Okay, now on to the giveaway. So I wanted to do a giveaway, and I mentioned this in my last podcast. And this is what I'm going to do. I am 52 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers, which completely blows my mind. Completely blows my mind. So thank you guys. Thank you. That's like a ego boost. But I'm not being egotistical. I just mean it feels really good. That I am almost to 1,000 subscribers. So when I hit 1,000 subscribers to my Lovely Yarn Podcast channel on YouTube, I'm going to have a giveaway. Now, I have 3 things here that I'm going to include in this giveaway, but I'm going to continue curating things for one person to win, okay? Robin from Robin's Roost contacted me after my last podcast when I had mentioned the giveaway, and she said, I'd like to send you something for your giveaway. And I was like, really? That is so incredibly nice. So she sent me 2 things. She said, I'm going to send you a skein of yarn and a handmade bag that she had made. And she said, you can keep the bag yourself, or you can use it as part of your giveaway. I'd like to keep the bag myself, but I feel like that'd be totally selfish of me because she was so kind to send me this stuff for free. So I'm going to give both of them away. Robin, if you're watching this, thank you so much. This was so kind. It just made my day that you would want to send me something to give away on my podcast. Okay, so the yarn is fingering weight yarn. It's a sock yarn. So it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And this is the perfect color for spring because it's called Watermelon Daydream, and it looks like a watermelon. Okay, so here we go. So this is the yarn. And then she made this beautiful bag that I am going to give away because I'm not going to be selfish, even though I want to keep it. Okay, so here it is. Yeah, so it's got like the boxed bottom, and it's got this little, what is this called? I don't know, but you can hold on to it here, and her tag over here. And then it's lined inside with a different fabric, and it's interfaced, so it has like a nice stiffness, but it's not too stiff. So yes, Robin sent these 2 things for my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Thank you, Robin. You are a sweetheart. You're an absolute sweetheart. Okay, and then I had mentioned about a book that I owned that I accidentally bought 2 of, which, oops. And I could have sent it back, but I decided, no, we'll just include this in my giveaway. So I'm going to include in this is probably going to be backwards. This is the Vogue Knitting Ultimate Knitting Book. Now, this isn't the most updated edition. This is the one they did before. What edition is this? Of course I can't find it. Okay, so the most recent edition that they just put out, this is not that one, but it's the one before that. So it's got all kinds of good information in here on not only stitches and the different kinds of stitches, but also how to do different, like if you're designing, if you want to try designing. I haven't even read through all this yet. So I'm going to include this in the giveaway as well. So far we've got a skein of yarn, the Vogue Knitting book, and this project bag. And I'm also going to, I don't know, I may do this. This is for sure going to be given away. And then once I find out who the winner is, I think I'm going to just kind of customize the rest of the giveaway with just a few more little things. Once I know who's winning it, and then I can, if they're on Instagram or they, just kind of get a feel for what they might like in addition to these things. So that's what I'm going to do. And like I said, it'll be when I hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to share this podcast, I'd appreciate it. I know some of you already have, so thank you so much. That makes me feel so wonderful. And then, yeah, I will figure out the details of how I'm going to do this. It's probably going to be done right here on YouTube because I want to make this as simple and uncomplicated for me as possible. I know a lot of people do it through Ravelry, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big Ravelry user, so I need to figure out that detail, but I have some time. So I'm up to 948 subscribers. I need 52 more, and I'll hit 1,000, and we'll do our giveaway. And I believe that is all for today. I thank you so much for joining me. I think for the rest of the day, I have to be somewhere here in a couple hours, but I need to go get my laundry done. And I don't know what else. Looks like it's going to rain, so I probably won't be doing anything outdoors. Have a great day, whatever you're doing, and thank you so much for taking time to watch.